In this walkthrough, we'll go over the basics of creating and using Colorspike's powerful Groups feature. We'll start in the remote pane with 4 connected Colorspikes all doing their own thing. Tap the menu icon at the top right and you'll see an option to manage groups. Tap it to bring up the Groups Management window. Right now there are no groups to manage, so we'll tap the New Group button at the top. Let's name it My Group. The group appears in a new puck and you'll see that there's a visibility toggle that is on by default. Toggling this adds or removes the group's remote from the carousel. We can also change the group's name here or delete it entirely. We'll return to the remotes pane now so that we can add some Colorspikes to our new group. We immediately arrive at a deactivated remote with a single button labeled Activate Spikes. Tapping it brings up an Activate menu that is, right now, empty. This is probably the most confusing part about working with groups for the first time. We have to add Colorspikes to the group before we can activate them, which we do by tapping the Manage Group Members button. This window shows Colorspikes that are in the group at the top and Colorspikes that aren't at the bottom. Right now the top menu is empty, so let's add all 4 of our lights to the group. Tapping away from this window and we're back at the Activate menu. But note that the checkboxes to the right of our lights are all empty. That's because while these Colorspikes are members of this group, we haven't activated them yet. Think of adding group members like creating a roster for a sports team, and activating them like putting them into the field of play. We'll tap the checkbox next to each Colorspike to activate it. If the group doesn't have a pattern selected, which is the case with a new group, it will default to the pattern of the first device added. As each Colorspike is activated, they automatically switch to the group's pattern. We tap off to clear the window and are brought to the group's remote. Changes made here will affect all active group members, which we see as we adjust the brightness and mirroring. Now we'll change the group's pattern by tapping on the name of the current pattern and selecting from the browser. The whole group will dip to black momentarily and then come back up when all members are in sync. As we swipe over in the carousel, we'll see that the individual remotes are all in a locked state, with options to identify the Colorspike and remove it from our group. We'll use the Identify button to confirm that this is our 4th Colorspike, and then we'll click Ungroup. Nothing happens. The removed light will stay in sync until something is changed. Let's hop back to the group remote and see. We'll change the pattern to a solid color, and then begin shifting the hue. Notice that the first 3 Colorspikes are shifting in sync, and our 4th is still doing its own thing. We'll tap the Sticks Manager button at the bottom and then add it back in, bringing the whole array back into sync. In addition to the same remote tray options available in the regular remote, the group remote has additional options for spanning, sync delay, and frame skipping. These are all powerful features that will be covered in separate tutorials. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out our other tutorials. If you have a specific question, feel free to reach out on Instagram or Twitter at the Colorspike, or using the contact form at colorspike.com.